Hello, family. God bless you all. Pray everyone is doing well and doing fine. We left off at chapter 6 in the book of Jasher. So we'll pick up there again. The book of Jasher, chapter 6. At that time, after the death of Methuselah, the Lord said to Noah, "Go with your household into the ark. Behold, I will gather to you all the animals of the earth, and the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and they shall all come and surround the ark. And you shall go and seat yourself by the doors of the ark. And all the beasts, the animals, and the fowls shall assemble and place themselves before you, and such of them as will come and crouch before you. And you shall take and deliver into the hands of your sons, who shall bring them to the ark. And all that will stand before you, you shall leave." And the Lord brought this about on the next day. And animals, beasts, and fowls came in great multitudes and surrounded the ark. And Noah went and seated himself by the door of the ark, and of all flesh that crouched before him, he brought into the ark, and all that stood before him he left on earth. A lioness came with her two whelps, male and female, and the three crouched before Noah. The two whelps rose up against the lioness and struck her, and made her flee from her place, and she went away. And they returned to their place and crouched on the earth before Noah. And the lioness ran away and stood in the place of the lions. And Noah saw this and wondered greatly. And he rose and took the two whelps and brought them into the ark. Noah brought into the ark from all living creatures that were on earth, so that there was none left but those which Noah brought into the ark. 2 and 2 came to Noah into the ark. But from the clean animals and clean fowls, he brought 7 couples, as God had commanded him. And all the animals and beasts and fowls were still there, and they surrounded the ark at every place. And the rain had not descended till 7 days after. And on that day, the Lord caused the whole earth to shake, and the sun darkened, and the foundations of the world raged, and the whole earth was moved violently, and the lightning flashed, and the thunder roared, and all the fountains in the earth were broken up, such as was not known to the inhabitants before. And God did his mighty act in order to terrify the sons of men, that there might be no more evil on earth. And still the sons of men would not return from their evil ways, and they increased the anger of the Lord at that time, and did not even direct their hearts to all this. And at the end of 7 days, in the 600th year of the life of Noah, the waters of the flood were on the earth. And all the fountains of the deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And Noah and his household, and all the living creatures that were with him, came into the ark on account of the waters of the flood, and the Lord shut him in. And all the sons of men that were left on the earth became exhausted through evil on account of the rain, for the waters were coming more violently on the earth, and the animals and beasts were still surrounding the ark. And the sons of men assembled together, about 700,000 men and women, and they came to Noah to the ark. And they called to Noah, saying, "Open for us, that we may come to you in the ark, and wherefore shall we die?" And Noah, with a loud voice, answered from the ark, saying, "Have you not all rebelled against the Lord, and said that he does not exist? And therefore the Lord brought on you this evil, to destroy and cut you off from the face of the earth. Is not this the thing that I spoke to you of 120 years back? And you would not listen to the voice of the Lord. And now you desire to live on earth." And they said to Noah, "We are ready to return to the Lord. Only open for us that we may live and not die." And Noah answered them, saying, "Behold, now that you see the trouble of your souls, you wish to return to the Lord. Why did you not return during these 120 years, which the Lord granted you as the determined period? But now you come and tell me this on account of the troubles of your souls? Now also the Lord will not listen to you, neither will he give ear to you on this day, so that you will not now succeed in your wishes." And the sons of men approached in order to break into the ark, to come in on account of the rain, for they could not bear the rain on them. And the Lord sent all the beasts and animals that stood around the ark, and the beasts overpowered them and drove them from that place. And every man went his way, and they again scattered themselves on the face of the earth. And the rain was still descending on the earth as it descended 40 days and 40 nights. And the waters prevailed greatly on the earth. And all flesh that was on the earth or in the waters died, whether men, animals, beasts, creeping things, or birds of the air. And there only remained Noah and those that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed, and they greatly increased on the earth. And they lifted up the ark, and it was raised from the earth. And the ark floated on the face of the waters, and it was tossed on the waters, so that all the living creatures within were turned about like pottage in a cauldron. And great anxiety seized all the living creatures that were in the ark. And the ark was like to be broken. And all the living creatures that were in the ark were terrified. The lions roared, and the oxen lowed, and the wolves howled. And every living creature in the ark spoke and lamented in its own language, so that their voices reached to a great distance. And Noah and his sons cried and wept in their troubles. They were greatly afraid that they had reached the gates of death. And Noah prayed to the Lord and cried to him on account of this. And he said, "O Lord, help us, for we have no strength to bear this evil that has encompassed us. For the waves of the waters have surrounded us. Mischievous torrents have terrified us. The snares of death have come before us. Answer us, O Lord, answer us. Light up your countenance toward us and be gracious to us. Redeem us and deliver us." And the Lord listened to the voice of Noah, and the Lord remembered him. And a wind passed over the earth, and the waters were still, and the ark rested. And the fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters decreased in those days, and the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Noah then opened the windows of the ark, and Noah still called out to the Lord at that time, and he said, O Lord, who did form the earth and the heavens and all that are therein, bring forth our souls from this confinement and from the prison wherein you have placed us, for I am much wearied with sighing. And the Lord listened to the voice of Noah and said to him, When you shall have completed a full year, you shall then go forth. And at the revolution of the year, when a full year was completed to Noah's dwelling in the ark, the waters were dried from off the earth, and Noah put off the covering of the ark. At that time, on the 27th day of the second month, the earth was dry, but Noah and his sons and those that were with him did not go out from the ark until the Lord told them. And the day came that the Lord told them to go out, and they all went out from the ark. And they went and returned, everyone to his way and to his place. And Noah and his sons lived in the land that God had told them. They served the Lord all their days, and the Lord blessed Noah and his sons on their going out from the ark. And he said to them, Be prolific and fill all the earth. Become strong and increase abundantly in the earth to reproduce therein. Chapter 7. And these are the names of the sons of Noah: Japheth, Ham, and Shem. And the children were born to them after the flood, for they had taken wives before the flood. These are the sons of Japheth: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tyrus, 7 sons. And the sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Tigomar. And the sons of Magog were Elichanaph and Lubal. And the children of Madai were Achan, Zelo, Chazoni, and Lot. And the sons of Javan were Elijah, Tarshish, Chittim, and Dudanim. And the sons of Tubal were Arifi, Kesed, and Tari. And the sons of Meshech were Dedan, Zoran, and Shebashni. And the sons of Tyrus were Benib, Jerah, Uperion, my bad, Luperion, and Jalak. These are the sons of Japheth, according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 460 men. And these are the sons of Ham: Cush, Mitzrayim, Phut, and Canaan, 4 sons. And the sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Sateka. The sons of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Mizraim were Lud, Anam, and Pathros, Casloth, and Chaphter. And the sons of Phut were Jebul, Hayden, Benah, and Aden. And the sons of Canaan were Zidon, Heth, Amori, Girgashi, Havi, Arki, Sini, Arodi, Zimodi, and Kamathi. These are the sons of Ham, according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 730 men. And these are the sons of Shem, our ancestors: Elam, Asher, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram. 5 sons. And the sons of Elam were Shushan, Makshul, and Harmon. And the sons of Asher were Myras and Mokil. And the sons of Arpachshad were Shelah and Anar and Ashkel. And the sons of Lud were Pether and Bizayon. And the sons of Aram were Uz, that's U-Z, Chol, Gather, and Mash. These are the sons of Shem, according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 300 men. These are the generations of Shem. Shem had Arpachshad, and Arpachshad had Shelah, and Shelah had Eber. And to Eber were born 2 children. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the sons of men were divided, and in the latter days the earth was divided. Forgive me, family. And the name of the second was Yoktan, meaning that in his day the lives of the sons of men were diminished and lessened. These are the sons of Yoktan: Almondad, Shalaph, Chazar Moveth, Urok, Haduram, Ozel, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these are the sons of Joktan. And Peleg, his brother, had Yin, and Yin had Serug, and Serug had Nahor, and Nahor had Terah, Abraham's father. And Terah was 38 years old, and he had Aran and Nahor. And Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, took a wife in those days in his old age, and he gave birth to a son, and they called his name Nimrod, saying, at that time the sons of men again began to rebel and go contrary to God. The child grew up, and his father loved him greatly, for he was the son of his old age. The garments of skin which God made for Adam and his wife when they went out of the garden were given to Cush. For after the death of Adam and his wife, the garments were given to Enoch, the son of Jared. And when Enoch was taken up to God, he gave them to Methuselah, his son. And at the death of Methuselah, Noah took them and brought them to the ark, and they were with him until he went out of the ark. And in their going out, Ham stole the garments from Noah his father, and he took them and hid them from his brothers. When Ham had his firstborn, Cush, he gave him the garments in secret, and they were with Cush many days. Cush also concealed them from his sons and brothers. And when Cush had begotten Nimrod, he gave him those garments through his love for him. And Nimrod grew up, and when he was 20 years old, he put on those garments. Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments, and God gave him might and strength. And he was a mighty hunter in the earth. He was a mighty hunter in the field. And he hunted the animals, and he built altars, and he offered on them the animals before the Lord. And Nimrod strengthened himself, and he rose up from among his brothers, and he fought the battles of his brothers against all their enemies round about. And the Lord delivered all the enemies of his brothers in his hands. And God prospered him from time to time in his battles, and he reigned on the earth. Therefore, it became current in those days, when a man ushered forth those that he had trained up for battle, he would say to them, like God did to Nimrod, who was a mighty hunter in the earth, and who succeeded in the battles that prevailed against his brothers, that he delivered them from the hands of their enemies. So may God strengthen us and deliver us this day. And when Nimrod was 40 years old, at that time there was a war between his brothers and the children of Japheth, so that they were in the power of their enemies. Nimrod went forth at that time, and he assembled all the sons of Cush and their families, about 460 men. And he hired also from some of his friends and acquaintances about 80 men, and he gave them their hire. And he went with them to battle. And when he was on the road, Nimrod strengthened the hearts of the people that went with him. And he said to them, "Do not fear, neither be alarmed, for all our enemies will be delivered into our hands, and you may do with them as you please." And all the men that were about 500, and they fought against their enemies, and they destroyed them and subdued them. And Nimrod placed standing officers over them in their respective places. And he took some of their children as security, and they were all servants to Nimrod and to his brothers. And Nimrod and all the people that were with him turned homeward. And when Nimrod had joyfully returned from battle, after having conquered his enemies, all his brothers, together with those who knew him before, assembled to make him king over them, and they placed the regal crown on his head. And he set over his subjects and people, princes, judges, and rulers, as is the custom among kings. And he placed Terah, the son of Nahor, the prince of his host. And he dignified him and elevated him above all his princes. And while he was reigning according to his heart's desire, after having conquered all his enemies around, he advised with his counselors to build a city for his palace, and they did so. And they found a large valley opposite to the east, and they built him a large and extensive city. And Nimrod called the name of the city that he built Shinar, for the Lord had vehemently shaken his enemies and destroyed them. And Nimrod lived in Shinar, and he reigned securely. And he fought with his enemies, and he subdued them. And he prospered in all his battles, and his kingdom became very great. And all nations and tongues heard of his fame, and they gathered themselves to him, and they bowed down to the earth, and they brought him offerings, and he became their Lord and king. And they all lived with him in the city of Shinar. And Nimrod reigned in the earth over all the sons of Noah, and they were all under his power and counsel. And all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. But Nimrod did not go in the ways of the Lord, and he was more wicked than all the men that were before him from the days of the flood until those days. And he made gods of wood and stone, and he bowed down to them. And he rebelled against the Lord, and taught all his subjects and the people of the earth his wicked ways. And Mardon, his son, was more wicked than his father. And everyone that heard of the acts of Mardon, the son of Nimrod, would say concerning him, "From the wicked goes forth wickedness." Therefore it became a proverb in the whole earth, saying, "From the wicked goes forth wickedness." And it was current in the words of men from that time to this. And Terah, the son of Nahor, prince of Nimrod's host, was in those days very great in the sight of the king and his subjects. And the king and princes loved him, and they elevated him very high. And Terah took a wife, and her name was Amthello, the daughter of Cornibo. And the wife of Terah conceived and gave birth to him a son in those days. Terah was 70 years old when he had him, And Terah called the name of his son that was born to him Abram, because the king had raised him in those days and dignified him above all his princes that were with him. Thank you for listening, family. Hope you enjoy the history and story of our family.